It really sucks to be Nancy Pelosi and a Democrat. There was a time that Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats really thought they just had this incredible ability that whatever strategy they rolled out to try to destroy anyone on the right, it just worked. I mean, after all, they could get away with saying anything because they have the full cooperation of the lying legacy corporate corrupt mainstream media that's really not about journalism. They're all about perpetuating propaganda, leftist propaganda. They've got Hollywood with movie themes and TV lines just really carrying and nailing and driving home continually their leftist loon agenda. What could go wrong? Then along comes Donald Trump. Now, at first in their mind, he was a gift from heaven. After all, this buffoon, this individual who was not part of the establishment, this individual that had said so many just vile, rude, and mean things, he will certainly be an easy takedown. And they've watched one plan after another plan after another plan just abysmally go down in flames. First, it was Russian collusion. Well, then when they couldn't make that stick, then obviously it was about what he did in the Ukraine, or what he didn't actually do but thought about doing. Not sending them their money, but he sent their money. But he put pressure in a phone call, and then they read the transcript, and he didn't put any pressure. So now we got to impeach. What's what we got to do? We got to impeach. So, Nancy Botox Pelosi trying to convince everyone that, Trump was an imminent threat to our mere existence while they rushed through that impeachment. And then she decided to hold on to those articles of impeachment and not send them over to the Senate. Then, we had this little issue with Soleimani, and obviously he's committed a war crime, and he got to go. He can't be allowed to just, as the commander-in-chief, give orders without consulting the wisdom of Congress. He's got to go. They hope to build that into another impeachment. And now, today, as thousands and thousands of Iranians take to the streets to protest the current leadership and regime of Iran, not protest Donald Trump. No, nay. Why, we were shown images of people grieving in Iran over the loss of this great general. Of course they were on camera grieving. If they didn't, they were going to be executed. And now, all of a sudden, the Democrats, after Bernie Sanders calling the president an assassin, Pete Buttigieg stating in a tweet that it was our fault the Ukrainian jet plane was shot down. Yes, it was technically shot down by Iran, but if they hadn't been engaged in a tit-for-tat with us because of what the maniac in the Oval Office did by killing a terrorist and then a presidential candidate, so that's a bad thing? Boy, let's telegraph to the world, hey world, the next guy in that could be the president, this Pete Buttigieg, well, he's not going to do anything because he doesn't want to be accused of, there might be some collateral damage and people might not like us and he's just 14 and a happy gay man and he doesn't want to, make anybody actually mad and stand for anything. And now, as this so-called party of diversity, they embrace everyone and everything. Now you've got Corey grabbing boys in the men's room. Booker has dropped out of contention for the nomination. He was never really in, but he was in. So now we got a bunch of pale white people. Where's the diversity? You got Amy Klobuchar, who's just like, a neurotic individual that nobody's going to vote for. You've got Pocahontas, who's got her own issues, not only with her own authentic story, not just talking about her being a Native American, or rather not being a Native American, but her whole lie about why she didn't go back to teaching. Well, they didn't let me because I was pregnant. Turns out, yeah, they had made multiple offers for her to come back. She just decided to go do something else. Get into college under the minority status of being an Indian, using affirmative action to get a degree, and then ultimately, her teaching gigs at the collegiate level, all on affirmative action, denying real Native Americans their proper place in history. Yeah, and sorry, but she'll say anything to anyone, and there's just going to be way too easy to compare her to Hillary Rotham Clinton. You've got Bernie, the wild-eyed socialist. You've got Joe Dementia Biden, who can't ever remember where he is half the time, or which country is supposed to be upset with us now because of Donald Trump. It's just a bunch of pale and stale. And that's the Democratic Party. And now there's some people actually trying to, give Nancy Pelosi the props for that by withholding these articles of impeachment and releasing them now, that means everybody that's trying to run against Joe Biden that's actually a senator, they're going to be tied up for weeks, and by then we will have had Iowa, we will have had New Hampshire, we will have had other Democratic primaries, and they will be relegated to irrelevance. She did this to protect Joe Biden. And even if that's the case in her warped thinking, knowing that there's really nothing here to impeach Trump over, but trying to drag the process out in Congress, I should say in the Senate, well, this is going to help Joe Biden. This is going to help Joe Biden. President Trump's made it very clear that if this thing actually gets to an actual real trial in the Senate, Joe Boy and his son, they're going to have to be called as witnesses. They're going to have some splaining to do about what really went on with them and Ukraine. This is a no-win situation. The point that I'm trying to make with all of this, they're not used to this on the left. They're used to whatever they throw at a Republican, making it stick somehow, and even if there's no there, the Republican turning chicken crapola and quitting. Or offering up a somehow, even though I didn't do anything wrong, I'm sorry. And Trump doesn't do that. Trump doesn't back down. Trump is showing Republicans, this is how you deal with these scumbags on the left. This is how you fight back. And this is how you beat them. And this is absolutely incredible. I mean, just 48 hours ago, they were trying to spin what Trump did to Soleimani into another reason to impeach him. Now, with protesters taking to the streets wanting the regime in Iran gone, all of a sudden they're quiet. They're silent. They got nothing to say. And there are people on the Democratic side of the aisle beginning to put two and two together here saying, well, if this impeachment really is going nowhere, why didn't Nancy just send the articles over? Let's get this done with. Get this horrid piece of our stupidity behind us and get on with getting people focused on the election and nominating the right Democrat to go up against Trump. And now there are people within the Democratic Party that see, has Nancy purposely been holding on to these articles, despite the fact they're going to crash and burn, to protect Joe Biden, to give him an open shot of 2-3 weeks of campaigning with the rest of the contenders all wrapped up in a Senate trial? Is she that smart? She thinks she is. Is it going to work? No. She even tried to say over the weekend the fact that Mitch McConnell has said this is going to be a very speedy trial in the Senate. See, he's just admitting the cover-up. He's just admitting the cover-up. There is no there. The president would like there to be a real trial in the Senate. He'd like the opportunity for real witnesses to come forward, and he'd like the opportunity to really make the case and solidify once and for all in the minds of the American people, who was it that's really messing around in foreign affairs? You know, like the Bidens in the Ukraine. And I really want to know, what kind of financial dealings did the Bidens and the Obamas have with Soleimani? There's an investigation waiting to happen. All that said, for those of you that are watching that are Democrats, man, it sucks to be you. Just do yourself a favor on election night. Don't vote. Get drunk. Don't watch any of the coverage on TV. Oh, and by the way, let me remind you once and for all, Democrats gone. Democrats gone. They can't be trusted to be elected to anything on any level this November. Otherwise, they will just dream up new and even dumber reasons to try to impeach the president and try to stop him from getting his agenda through. Democrats gone. Well, that's it for today's rant. Hey, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you give us some props, a good thumbs up. Continue to spread links to my videos as we continue to be shadow banned by YouTube. Check us out on the other channel. It's a whole lot of fun over there. And don't forget, my book, it's coming. It really is.